So we are just, yeah. So we are starting, gentlemen. So very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, for joining the session today. My name is Ahmad Javaid, and I welcome all of you on our new episode of Technovation with Ahmad Javaid, where we brought a very special topic for you today, which is preparing for modern cyber security threats and what the business leaders should know about the advanced cyber threats today. So today, considering the technological evolution and where every aspect of our life is heavily depending on the technology, which where we need to know that every technology brings its own risks and threats along with it, and we need to be well aware of the risks and the related exposures and the implications on our lives, our businesses, our business operations, and most importantly, people as well. So, for the very reason, today we have joined with the wonderful panel of industry thought leaders from all over the Middle East and Pakistan. And I would like to invite each and every one of them to introduce themselves, starting from Amir. Please kindly introduce yourself.
Hi all, my name is Amir Siddiqui. I am working with Oman airports at Muscat Airport. And previously, I've been working with U Microfinance Bank, Samba, National Bank, and Dubai Islamic, where I had led the role of information security. I've been CISO for last 12 years, and I've led nearly 4 and 5 organizations, building policies and procedure to getting them certified. So that's a bit little intro for myself. Thank you.
Welcome once again, Amir, on the panel. We're looking forward to learn a lot from you today. Our second guest is Ralph Chammah. If kindly introduce yourself, please.
Yes, pleasure to be here. Ralph Chammah, the founder and CEO of Blacklight AI, a proactive security monitoring detection platform driven by AI technology. Prior to founding this company, I used to be in the world of Big Four. With Deloitte, I was a director leading and building a cyber analytics practice for Deloitte in North America as well in APAC, with extensive experience in everything that's related to getting organizations to the next level when it comes to cybersecurity maturity. And with today's technology and definitely with the deep fakes, it's going to be a very exciting panel today.
Pleasure having you, Ralph, today, and definitely we're looking forward to share your knowledge and experience with the audience today. And at the end, we have a very famous personality, a well-known speaker, Azfar. If you kindly introduce yourself, please.
Thank you very much, Ahmad, for a wonderful introduction. Like good words. My name is Azfar Baig. I am the founder and CEO of Cansol. Cansol basically is a cybersecurity company, and we are into the market from last 5 years. We are operating from 3 or 4 multiple international locations, and primarily we are into services, and we are actively working with big giants in UK and Saudi and in Pakistan as well. So in these 5 years we had gone through a very good milestone in terms of
Azfar, I think I have lost you. We have not been able to hear your voice. Right.
threats hunting. So lots of things are happening
Yeah.
into cybersecurity. So
I, I guess like we, as we have a little bit of unstable connection though. So we will have him back soon. So we'll proceed with the session itself. So without any further ado, I just wanted to say a few things before we start, discussing the key topics relevant to our discussion today. We do have observed a lot of cyber attacks in the region all around the globe, and that's keep increasing. Nonetheless, the efforts are always there from the business leaders to invest in strengthening the cybersecurity controls, the security stacks. However, there's an important element in all this journey is the people aspect of it, and especially particularly people who are actually functionally involved in identifying such threats and attacks, and coming up with an incident response strategies, effectively how to engage the related stakeholders and execute the actual strategies on the ground. So, given that, I mean, we have a very common examples of ransomware attacks, phishing attacks, and so forth. And but what we brought special today in today's discussion is that we will be discussing a very advanced topics of the cyber threats today, which includes the use cases, starting from the very famous deep fakes. So let's start with it. Amir, what do you think about the risks and implications of deep fake attacks currently on the industry and the our business domains?
Thank you so much, Ahmed. Well, this deepfake has become something very challenging for this age. We remember starting from simple user ID passwords to now two factors, and then to biometrics, then facial scans and the authentication from facial scans. Now, industry is standing towards a point where all kind of two-factor authentications have become a challenge. If I talk about, I am doing a banking, and my app used to recognize me from a facial scan things, like most of the advanced mobile phones have this feature. So what to do now. I was seeing a video yesterday in which there is a control in various mobile banking applications to do a video KYC. So one of the guy was challenging that video KYC algorithm, and he was converting himself into different famous personalities, and those personality the KYC algorithm was identifying with them. So and now, if we talk about, we want to, if since I have been working with the banking domain last 20 years, so I have a lot of examples from there. As of now, we see a lot of boom in Pakistan, where a lot of fintechs and mobile banking digital applications, they are coming up with very unique features of opening an account on mobile, video KYC, and all these things. Now, if you talk about this thing called as deep fake, so now everyone is standing there. So now, like before, one of the bank, prominent one, they brought biometric scans from camera. So at early stages, regulator rejected that. Okay, you cannot do that because there was not liveliness detection was not there. Then they built this liveliness detection, and now deepfake is there. So technology, there's technology coming up, and then as soon as the technology is there, the bad guys are there before. So yes, this has become a challenge. What we can do, we can complex the algorithm with multiple ways of detection. Like, I'm doing a simple two-factor authentication check by sending a two-factor code on mobile, and then I'm also mixing it up with liveliness detection of a picture. You know, doing this complex algorithm now. If you talk, as we talk now, there are a lot of deep fake detection tools as well. So now the businesses or the guys who are bringing up these applications and fancy, fintech applications, they should focus towards building those deep fake detection tools in their application as well. Not only, restrict the bringing technology, they have to learn how to bring those tools into their applications where they can detect these kind of things. Mostly with security guys, since I was looking in my last role, I was also looking in the digital fraud prevention portfolio as well. So in that portfolio, our regulator has enforced a lot of controls on us to detect these kind of things. But deepfake was missing there. So my question was raised up to the regulator, that where is deep fake control in your regulation? They said, okay, while we were writing this regulation, the deep fake things uh, has created that market. So you can cater that thing in your if you are building those controls, so you can uh, include that as well. So businesses and all the all the people who are bringing their money and investing a lot in this fintech applications, EMI applications, digital banking things, they should support the security team to build or adopt these controls as well. Yeah.
Right, very well said, man. And apart from the banking sector or BFSI in particular, Ralph, what do you think that there are a lot of scenarios which have been observed, like in the the state-sponsored espionage and all the related stuff using the deepfakes. What's your views on these?
I'm actually going to tie it to the last point of Amir in terms of regulating this, because in today's world, there's deepfake, there's AI, there's blockchain technology, and everything is coming into this ecosystem. So, one aspect of how, whether it's regulators or different videos and deepfakes that are popping up, the use of blockchain as a technology can be something to start anchoring that trust and say, okay, this is actually a true video or not, in terms of the emergence. Because the applicability of this can be either in the banking industry, either in data center management, whether it's that facial recognition type of approach of entering into data centers. How can you bypass that? But there's also the other aspect of material and content um, being generated. And we could take the very simple example of you, for example, Ahmed. You are quite active on social media platforms and all that. Imagine someone using your deepfake and sending messages, and people that have the trust that you built so far can be easily used and used for the bad, where they're going to start saying things that you don't believe, where they're not true, but given people now believe you, they're going to start. So it's quite interesting. And for me, as much as it is, whether it's deep fake, whether it's the AI technology evolution, all this pushes innovation when it comes to cybersecurity, and how us on a day-to-day have to think of, okay, given these tools are available for the bad people, the malicious people, how can we use it also to either stop them, or either get the posture to the next level. Now, to your question around state sponsored and all that, it ties back to the example I just said, where if all of a sudden you have a deep fake, and I must say some of the deep fakes are very hard to identify if it's actually real or fake. So there has to be that additional layer in the back end of additional technology controls, whether it's blockchain, whether it's cybersecurity, of authenticating if that true um, video that you're seeing is from a genuine source, or it's someone just fake. So it's going to have a big impact whether it's the day-to-day authentication of me as an end user trying to use a banking application, to sending message sending messages during attacks, or any other. The use of deepfake is unfortunately infinite, and it's going to be very interesting to see how, not to say that state sponsored attacks using deepfake hasn't commenced. It has been already there, but it's just going to go more and more. And we're seeing it also, the different videos that are popping up just for the US elections now, and how they're using these, putting words in other people's mouth type of scenarios. So it's very interesting. And the applicability of this, whether it's state sponsored type of day, or banking, or any application from a purely authentication aspect, has to evolve as well, or else it's going to open doors to a lot of different threats on a day to day.
Exactly, very well said, Ralph. And in particularly, like deepfake attacks have been used for against the pips, politically influential people around the globe, just to tarnish their social images and all that stuff, just to deliver a wrong perception, create a false messages and so forth. So, Asfar, would you like to add on these some of the examples which have been shared? You're still on mute, Asfar.
Yeah, absolutely. I second Raf and Amit on the things, but in my 2 cents are basically we need to be business need to be proactive in that sense. Like for proactiveness, if cyber criminal are using and leveraging AI for this deep fake, why not business can do? So business can also, an organization also can use the AI in a full zeal to identify proactively for these sort of deep fakes. And beside that, organization should have the proactive intelligence as well. Once I talk about intelligence, I'm talking about the threat intelligence. So if they have the proactiveness in their threat intelligence and they are proactive in using AI tools to detect that deepfake, then definitely they can combat with that sort of deepfake attacks in their environment. And last but not the least, the awareness, because there is always lacking in awareness. And when we talk about the awareness, this awareness becomes the because many of the errors comes from the human side, so we need to aware people how to identify proactively these sort of things. And as Raf said, that politically there might be some VVIP sort of things where deepfakes to be created on them. So if people have that sort of awareness in their mind, so they should have take some steps to identify the first step, either it's a real or fake. So I hope the proactiveness would be from the business perspective, from employee perspective, and the human perspective. The proactiveness would be the main major concern and major steps to be taken into that.
Absolutely, very, very, in fact, very beautifully said in a very short number of words. Is that the having a reliable cyber threat intelligence helps us, ensuring the predictive analytics to be prepared well in advance for these threats. So just to take the discussion forward, so let's discuss now about the real source of such kind of threats, where these threats and these risks are actually evolved from. And I'm not talking about anything else other than the dark web. So dark web now became a sort of a marketplace where such scenarios, such techniques, such tools becomes the underworld, or sort of a black market to be sold out in the wrong hands and been purposely used in a wrong, for the wrong purposes as well. So Amir, man, I would like to know your views about, like, what business leaders should be knowing about this dark web, and the what security leaders should implement such practices to adopt this, the predictive analytics practices.
Yeah. Uh, Thank you so much. Well, Ahmed, the game of security is where you stand in that particular time. If you are ahead by knowing the threat intelligence sources, if you are updated with the recent kind of attack, if you are really patched up, and if you are completely cyber attack can happen, that's a residual risk, but still that totally depends on how much prepared you are and how much intelligence you have. Since cybersecurity is a kind of a fifth domain of war, as we have seen in the past few days, so now it's all about how much intelligence you have in the game. Similarly, with this deep fake and these kind of a thing, there are certain solutions and solution providers who have their eyes in the dark web. They are seeing everything, they know each and everything, and they can do the takedowns as well. And we call them at digital risk protectors. So the business guys and then the investors and all the shareholders, they should be aware of these technologies, and they must ensure that these are part of their cybersecurity strategy. Their cybersecurity team, or whoever is the team who is leading that initiative, digital risk protector or whatever, they must have that feature built in, and their team are proactive. They are getting the intelligence, they are working on it, what kind of attacks are happening, what kind of a threat attack vectors are happening in the market. So it's all about how ahead are you in the game. If you are not into that, you don't have digital risk protector who are not scanning, these dark webs and all these bad guys, and who cannot take down, who you don't have any service to take down certain things. So definitely you will be hit badly. And the downtime, loss of business, ROI, all these things are there. So if you have to cater these guys, attack will happen, something will get newly developed, but it's all about how you are, how prepared you are and how much intelligence you have to cater them. you know if something happens that was not on the intelligence radar as well, nowhere in the world knows about it. So there comes your incident response thing, how much your incident response is to cater that thing, how much the teams are prepared to deal with this thing. And for that, there's the term and there's a team called as CSERT, that every organization should have that team. And these guys should be trained enough to deal with these kind of scenarios where they have to deal with threats from the dark web and the deep fake things and all that.
Absolutely. When most of the organizations are still like, it seems to be struggling in developing their cyber threat intelligence functions, empowering their, the SOCs, internal, or maybe if they are acquiring the SOC as a service though, but the intelligence makes them, more aware of ensuring the preparedness. So, Ralph, would you like to add on what's been said here?
Definitely, but I would like to also take a step back and connect three different aspects that each of you mentioned. So,
Hmm.
Amir, in terms of that unseen type of aspects that we don't know.
Hmm.
Ahmed, you mentioned about analytics, and as far you mentioned about AI. And today's world, we need to be with that proactive mindset rather than reactive, because or else it's always fire mode, always panic mode of trying to figure out. But what's important also, and we're seeing a trend in the market when it comes to any type of security tools in all pillars, where organizations want to be able to start correlating all these together, because whether it's from a cyber threat intelligence to dark web, many organizations do have subscriptions, do have platforms for that. But the reality is, it's either being done ad hoc, where you need someone to actually go and see, okay, is there applicability to it? So the the power of today's ecosystem is data. A lot of organizations are generating a lot of data from different telemetry, from security tools and all that. And it's a question of how do you gather that and do that AI analytics driven type of correlation of things that you have not seen before. Because that's the reality we're facing. Hackers, they're using AI. So if they're generating things that we haven't seen before, we can't be in the mindset of, oh, I want to see this specific type of threat. If you know it, then someone else knows it. So we have to start using technology. Truly believe that AI as a technology is that advanced capability of looking at what a human should be doing exponentially quicker. So it's a question of using that, using data to the point of not just your security stack, but tying it back to deep fake. A lot of industries that are using cameras, CCTVs, this has telemetry. So how do you start also correlating that with other things that you're seeing in your ecosystem? So I truly believe organizations have to change that mind shift of one, proactive, and this comes from leadership. Leadership has to set that vision of we need to be proactive, because the last thing you want is your CISO panicking and putting pressure on the team. The team, they could either tell you, okay, I resign, I'm gone, and you still have to deal with this aspect. And like Amir said, there's financial implications, there's legal implications, there's brand reputation implications. So it's a big impact, and that's where shift of proactive detection using proper cyber threat intelligence, whatever you could gather from the dark web, and correlate it of what's happening to your day to day, and that ecosystem of advanced analytic using the power of AI is where organizations are shifting, and quicker than what we were expecting, because they're seeing that threats are coming left and right, and you don't know what type of threat to expect. So truly believe the power of advanced analytic mindset shift and the technology using AI. AI is not a buzzword. AI has been on the market for since like 1950s. So it just has evolved tremendously, and it has to be used in softwares to enable teams to be more effective and efficient in doing incident response.
Very rightfully said, Min, and nice blend of all the related components which you have presented. Asfer, would you like to take the discussion forward on the dark web related aspect of incident response strategies?
Yeah, definitely. Before incident response, and I totally agree with Ralph's point about the data, that because the data is the key right now. But organization and business should have focus on very robust cybersecurity framework before that. And once we talk about the cybersecurity framework, we are talking about the zero trust model. Zero trust is something, never trust, always verify principle, right? So once you have that zero trust architecture in your organization, and the thing, always verify, then you can definitely, you know, I mean, you know, you can decrease the impact of any cyber threats, because you cannot stop the threats as you are started the things, the marketplace. So marketplace is very wide. You can hire ransomware as a service, you can hire phishing as a service, so you cannot stop that. The only thing to stop is, we have talked about very much on proactiveness. So after proactiveness, we should have a strong, architecture. We have a strong framework within ourselves, and we should develop a very strong and proactive collaboration. Once we talk about the collaboration, we should collaborate, as Amir mentioned about the CSIRTs. So we should collaborate with the law enforcement agencies, we should collaborate with the regulators, we should collaborate with the industries, we should collaborate with the, you know the non-profit organizations or the groups like CxO, like, JS, like MePAC. There are many groups in Pakistan and Middle East and the rest of the world. So we should engage with them to get, right threat intelligence from them, and based on that threat intelligence and any campaigning group on that, ransomware as a service, phishing as a service, or any marketplace activity, we should develop our strategy based on that, and fine tune the zero trust model to protect our data and protect our crown jewels.
Exactly, I mean, very rightfully said. Like, there are a lot of stakeholders involved in order to come up with the more effective and efficient incident response strategies, given that depending on that, the scenario of that particular time and the type of the attacks and so forth, where predictive analytics plays an important role, and where, the dark web has its own importance to consider. So taking the discussion forward now, I like the point which Ralph mentioned in the discussion related to the deepfake just a few minutes back, is there's always a physical part of it as well. And deepfake is mostly deals with the, the content and pictures and videos and fake voices and all that. But however, today in the present world, we do have new evolving technologies related to, such as 3D printing, where we can print the human faces, where we can print the biometric thumb impressions as well, which are generally being used as the security controls. So I would like to collect your views on the threats exposed using the 3D printing as well. So let's start from Amir. What do you think about these scenarios?
Yeah, your question recalls me one of the blunt issues that we used to have in like microfinance industry in Pakistan. Like customer complaining I did not did the transaction and we have his biometric. They are saying that we have not opened our this wallet account, and they say we have your biometric, you did that. So as I said, we have evolved like hundredfold, thousandfold, and this time we are expanding like billion million fold. So these biometric thing was initial kind of a second factor authentication that we used to take while getting mostly services in Pakistan, like ID card verification, or taking SIMs, and opening a bank account and all that. So then this 3D printing becomes a challenge. Most of the law enforcement agencies, we saw that in the news as well, that they are getting people who have like lot of rubber stamps with that. Initially, most of our CISOs in Pakistan, we raised this voice. We saw this happening. We used to hear it from our close acquaintance that this is happening. Be aware and do these things. So, but once again, this is our this is our kind of a thing. We wait for such incidents to happen so we can do this. Like Ralph said, we are kind of a proactive people. We are not kind of a proactive people, we are reactive people. We do controls if something happens. So then our regulator, they brought this liveliness detection kind of a thing, which I said before as well, that one of the bank, they tried to bring this imagery biometric scans, but unfortunately their algorithm was brought down by them. So then they bring this liveliness detection kind of a thing. To catch these guys is nearly impossible. It's on based on if you get some people and you can trace them, and then you can go after them and you can break their network. But still, it's most of the areas, there's a challenge for law enforcement to go in. So this is a major challenge, and as I said, uh, you know we have to stay away. We advance from the threats coming in. If we are so reactive that okay, that thing is happening, people are getting affected, we have a piles of complaint, and then we are going to build such things. This thing has evolved a lot. People got affected a lot, and it is kind of a risk for each one of us. Like if I talk about myself, I don't know how much transactions I have done, and still I don't know how much wallets I have, and I still don't know how much sims have been issued on my name, and I still don't know. So organization should focus in building technologies like liveliness detection. If I'm printing my thumb on some instrument or on my mobile phone, so they should have like secondary check on it as well. Okay, they make complex algorithms and one technology on another technology and a third technology, so they can truly guess that the identity theft case is not there. The person who is doing the verification is the real one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I agree with the greater extent with you that, I mean, technology is not always a solution in every situation. We need to consider the procedural aspect of it, and sometime we need to consider the old style approaches as well, to consider the effectiveness of the controls. Ralph, your views, please.
I'll actually challenge that in the sense of technology is a tool that is being underused. And I'll give you a more a simple example of the data centers and um, 3D printing, fingerprints, facial recognition. Nowadays, I'm gonna put it very exaggerated, but it's simple to get fingerprints off of anything. And then next thing you know, if someone does their also social engineering, getting into a data center could be easier than before, let's say. So the that is already an entry point. So to Amir's point, where authenticating that biometric at the source might be difficult sometimes, and you don't have it. But let's say it got to the point where the malicious actor got it to the data center and uses the biometrics to authenticate. And let's say it's rough that authenticates fingerprints, eyes, checkout, but it's not rough entering. So next thing you know, I'm in the data center. And at that point, you already have a point where you should be able to correlate and start using also UEBA technology, user entity behavior analytics, to see, okay, you know what, Raf is an employee of this company that who accesses the data centers on a periodic basis. But you know what? Raf usually doesn't enter the data center on Friday afternoons or on Saturday. And this occurrence happened. So you already have that first data point of, okay, something suspicious happened. Because we all know that advanced persistent threats, APT attacks, are becoming more sophisticated. And it's not a question of everything happening in a time frame. It's happening over a longer time frame. So that malicious actor gets into the data center, walks around, does his thing, and does their thing. And another entry point could be one of the servers, one of anything. And that's another data point. So all these data points, that's why I truly believe in the power of analytics, AI, UEBA, of how do you consolidate all these, whether it's also from CCTV, facial recognition of cameras, not just the one that opens the door. All these are going to give you data points that you should be able to correlate and start seeing, okay, something suspicious happening. Let me take an action. I'd rather be safe than sorry in the sense of, oh, I didn't look at it. So um, organizations, whether you're in banking, whether you're in the casinos, whether you're in any industry, you need to use all the data points in your ecosystem from a cyber perspective to be able to counter the dark web type of attacks, deep fake, and all the innovative things that are coming. So to your point in terms of technology, I think it's underutilized and people shouldn't be afraid of using technology because it could be an enabler in helping definitely security teams sleep better at night.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very beautifully said, Raf. The only point is like, which I would like to have in fact, you endorse the same point which I was trying to highlight is that it's not, um, it is important to use the technology, but it's more important that how we are using it. So using the multi-factor authentication, building the checkpoints in the different stages is more important than which technology UEBA should come first or the facial recognition should come first and all that. So considering that scenario, as for your views are gonna be more interesting to hear. What do you like to say in this?
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with the points Raf and Amir mentioned. But there is a misconception of some, multi-factor authentication going on. Multi-factor authentication is something you have, something you know, and something you are, and any combination of these. First of all,
Right.
so nowadays, what people in business are thinking that if they enable the biometric, that is enough. Number one, which is wrong. And now many of the smart devices like Apple has integrated the Face ID into that. So once you start, you do the Face ID and you log in. There is no second check. So as Raf mentioned, the data points, or I could say the check should be there. First of all, so it would be biometric plus any password, token, or whatever. Number one. And number two, as Amir said, the liveliness. Yes, liveliness should be there. And in liveliness, I personally see many of the applications are doing some sort of, liveliness check with respect to your, movement of head, movement of eye blinking, and something like it. And the biometric should having advanced biometrics should be implemented in a sense that it should see the blood flow in your thumb. Number one, because we have seen in the past, and Amir second to that people have made fake biometric on rubber stamps, and these biometrics have been widely used to generate very much sim cards, the fake sim cards. So that's the issue is, so liveness should be there, the multi-factor authentication should be adopted in a true sense, and last but not the least, the continuous monitoring. Why continuous monitoring? Because once we have the monitoring in place, that can flag any suspicious behavior or anomalies in biometric usage. So this real-time protection through that AI-driven monitoring would definitely stop these kind of attacks in our environment.
Right. So awesome. Like, when I definitely 3D printing is not less than the military grade level scenario to be considered, and that's the implications are so severe, which still starting having implications on the businesses and of course the normal populations as well, because today, as Amir said, like, the mobile banking, mobile apps started using the thumb impression as authentication means, and that can be misused as well, especially considering the corporate executives for pips and all that. So now I would like to take our discussion to the another very important and interesting aspect of the very advanced cybersecurity threat, which is still in the emerging phase. But it is, we as business leaders, we need to be really well aware of it and be ready for that with the evolution of quantum computing. So, being that said, the quantum computers gonna be way more faster than what we imagine, considering today's supercomputers. So that exposes the whole technology diaphragm of the whole globe into under a devious threat of all the encryptions, all the passwords, which are considered to be not breakable with the given computing power we have today, will be able to be broken within matter of few seconds, if not minutes, or vice versa. So, Amir, let's start from you. That mean, how do you see that change coming? The way we generally call that as quantum era. So today we are in the digital age. We're gonna be hitting the quantum age very soon. So what would be your advice as well to the business leaders to be prepared about that wave?
Well, for our viewers, let's start from the basic, because this is a very advanced thing, and we should start from the basics. Like, what is quantum computing? Well, quantum computing is like, that started from the physics, what we have studied about the quantum, what the small nucleus is and how it break up, what is the transition of energy. So it's quantum computing is the utilization of computer science, mathematics, and physics concept, and they are the fastest computer to solve complex algorithms. Now, these algorithms we use to make encryption standards. What is an encryption? Decryption is just because it's just an algorithm to convert one plain text data to a ciphertext. So now the key to secure algorithm is how much it is unbreakable. Everything is breakable in this world. If you talk about like Enigma machines in Second World War, they become the reasons for Germans to lose that war. So when you are able to break an algorithm, you can see any kind of a data in transit, data at rest, or data at motion. Now, I will keep my focus on these things like data in transit, motion, and at rest. And we have solutions to cater them as well. For data in transit and data in motion, we are talking about data that is going through the memories, that are going through the central processing units, that are going through, the network cables. These data, we apply encryptions on them and try to make that breaking impossible for anyone. So for the hackers, there is a terminology that they keep the data and they will break it on later on basis. They are not breaking it at that very moment. They are sniffing it, they are storing it, and they will break it, and then they will utilize it. It's like collecting everything, storing in your repository, and then you will break it. And for that breaking, they utilize this quantum computing things, or anything that can break it. Like, we are very, most of our users in organizations, they are like, okay, why 8-character password, why 10-character password? If you are admin, why is 12-character password? That's how there are algorithms in the market who can break your password, and they need substantial time for that. Now, 30 days also come in. So 30 days, if you are breaking a password of 8-character length and you are using the most advanced algorithm in the world, it will require like 30 days to break it. And while You are breaking that algorithm, and 30th day has achieved, the user has been asked or forced to change that password. Now he is sitting on new password. So your breaking algorithm will fail up because the user has changed the password. Now user can change the password to a similar password. For that, we security people enforce a policy to not repeat a password that you have used 1 year before. So we like 13 last passwords you cannot use, 14 or 15 password that cannot use. So the security policy that we enforce in our organization are just to ensure that no algorithm in this world can break that password hash, the ciphered password. Nobody can break it. But now this quantum computing things have come. So now what I ask my user to keep password like 56 characters, so this they can beat this quantum thing. No, I will not. What I will do, I will go to the solutions that can detect, some quantum. My solutions are prone that any quantum algorithm cannot break it, and we called as post quantum algorithms. Like my application has to be embedded with like post quantum algorithms, that any algorithm doing post quantum things as well cannot break it. Now this has changed the entire thinking method of developing algorithms for encryptions. And then these are for the data in transit and data at rest, data in transit and data in motion thing. For data at rest, I advise organizations and business leader to seriously think about the data and retention. How much data you need to retain on online stores, on online repositories. So you can, the more data you will keep online, the more people are, they can get affected. And the more data of yours can get affected. So for my perspective on the data address, it should be that we should revisit, or the leaders or the policymakers, strategy people, business CISOs, CIOs, they should revisit and they should think about how much data they should keep online and how much data they should keep offline. So if the data got compromised, so they are not much affected, just very less data is available online. So still, as you said, this is evolving, and we are also, learning and exploring about it, how to beat it, because encryption is the core of security. If your encryption has been outrun by this advanced computing algorithms, you stand nowhere.
Exactly, and that's where the whole security of the international organizations, governments, agencies, um, business operations, everything gonna be get compromised. So, given the magnitude of the threat, Ralph, we would like to hear your views on this very interesting thing. Unfortunately, we lost Azfar
Indeed.
due to some
Yeah.
reason, due to unstable connection. So I hope like he could be able to join back. But let's hear the Ralph views on this.
Actually, it might be shorter than you're expecting, because for me, this topic is still understudy from my personal aspect, because it is like Amir said, it is an evolving sector. Um, one thing's for sure, it is going to have an impact, and to my point earlier, we need to continue innovate, and we need to think of how this is going to have an impact on our day-to-day kind of fabric. But to give you a full-fledged thoughts of quantum, not on this call definitely, but the areas that it will impact, definitely data is going to be a big one, and definitely that approach of attack is changing, where hackers, malicious intent actors are going to gather and then go figure out what's happening before they actually execute their attack.
Exactly. I mean, this is, as you rightly said, like it's an evolving topic. But however, the the speed these such technologies are emerging is phenomenally high, and the evolution of AI has proven that fact. That when we should expect all of these new technologies which are being developed, though in the past for the space technologies and space exploration efforts, but now it has started being used in the commercial for the commercial businesses. SpaceX is one of the example, and for mobile industry, that started incorporating all those security practices which we used to have like in a very sensitive facilities in the past. now it's in the hand of each and every individual, which are considered to be a literate person and are able to use a mobile phone. Given that, Amir, your point was very valid, that we need to highlight some relevant basics of the quantum computing, where for our sake of our audience, I mean, quantum computing is nothing else. And how it differs from the digital computing is that in digital computer, the most fundamental bit is can carry either one or zero, but the qubit can carry any number of any size. So that's the volume of the computing from the very basics, and it has the stages where they can compute multiple processes in a single point of time, and that enhances the computing power exponentially, uh, beyond of our imagination, and that basically gonna bring us a very severe security threat of breaking the passwords which we have all around the globe, the encryption keys and hashes and all that. So that's a new field which has been introduced recently in the space of quantum, is called as quantum safe, where a lot of study and research has been happening. The relevant algorithms are being developed, and now tools started coming in the market, which are picking up, and developing their own marketplace now to make the especially from China, Germany, and US. So, given that we are just heading towards last 10 minutes of our discussion, where I would like to request you that, Amir, if you would like to sum up and help us draw a consolidated picture of these threats, considering the deep fake, the AI, power of AI, and the quantum computing all together in our own hands, and especially the involvement of state-sponsored agents, what the community leaders or the business leaders should consider about these things.
Well, thank you so much, Ahmed and Ralph. To summarize, what we have discussed in this session is, as a business leader, we should focus on business, but we should also focus on post-business scenarios, like what could happen if my product has been taken wrong. Because when we launch something, some business, some innovative product, we always used to get like competitors. And in this age, competitors have a lot of dark web available for them. They can sabotage your product. So invest as much as you invest on technology, invest on security as well. And before starting some business startup, do a comprehensive risk assessment, not on business perspective but on the technology perspectives as well, that how my technology can get affected. The better the technology, the better are the prospects of your business. But if you launch something very brilliant and that goes down on the another day by something called as quantum computing attacks or AI based attacks, so you stands nowhere. So for the digital threats are there, and they will evolve with the time. 3G, 5G, we are going towards 6G. Every day we hear that this processor has clocked, break that record of clock speeds and all that. So, and this quantum computing kind of attacks are coming in, AI based attacks are coming in. So, and if we are not uh, proactive, we will lose the business. Simple as that. So, as a business leaders, they should understand the importance of security and importance of business resilience. They should have this term well understood called as business resilience, that their business should evolve as long as there is any kind of attack in this world, but their business is resilient to deter that. And for that, they should do a comprehensive risk assessment. They should adopt the best technologies. They should get to the security leaders and take their inputs. They should have like brainstorming sessions with the security people. Okay, this is my product, how you can take it down, what are the threats in the market, and then they come up with the investment. Otherwise, they will lose a lot.
Perfect, perfect. Man, in fact, when you sound like these are not just the business efforts. This has to become a lifestyle for the business leaders to adopt the secure practices within their the day to day routine tasks. So, Ralph, your final few thoughts on collecting all of the areas of the threats which we have discussed.
Yeah, definitely echo what Amir said in terms of proactive, and it's unfortunate that we only had 1 hour, but this topic could go for hours and hours. And it's definitely a change of mindset that has to come really from leadership um, to push this into day-to-day aspects of cyber. And the main part is always tying everything we do in terms of investing in a tool, investing in human capital of hiring right folks to what's the impact if I didn't do this and the financial impact. And sometimes you do have to still play that scare card of, okay, it might cost you 3, 4, 500,000 a year to get the solution, but it could also save you potentially millions of dollars the impact. So sometimes you have to pull that card to just show the impact of, you know what, it's actually not as expensive as you are. And it's a challenge we face in the world of cyber. How do we continue to remind people that yes, it is an insurance cyber, but it could definitely save you a lot. So leaders should continue using and adopting technology, whether it's AI, whether it's quantum computing and all that, to their day to day. Not be afraid of using emerging tech, and be able to adapt the entire ecosystem and tooling to really benefit of all the data points that you actually are gathering.
Exactly, very rightfully said. So, with this thing, then I just would like to wrap up our discussion. So, we discussed about all the key use cases which are very relevant and have strong implications to our businesses, our societies, individuals, organizations, and in fact, governments as well, of the advanced cyber threats, which the leaders particularly belongs to the business domains should be well aware of these things and invest into the right tools, technologies, and not only that, it has to be along adopted with the timely adoption of the right strategies, approaches to implement these technologies and tools in a right and effective and efficient manner. So thank you very much. With this said, and I would like to thank Amir, Ralph, and the audience wherever everyone has joined, and stay tuned. We'll be bringing similar topics with the similar very strong industry thought leaders on the next coming sessions. And with this said, have a nice day ahead. Thank you very much once again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ahmed. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.